Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. I am your host, Doug Holt, with my co-host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. What's going on, my brother?
Doing very well. Sniffles have just started again.
I noticed that a couple weeks ago. I know you're working on.
I went to go see the Chinese. Oh, I told you, right? That Chinese doctor this morning. So that'll be interesting. It's great. Do you know what? At first, I was seeing this as like fuck. And I just realized, you know what? No. I refuse to accept this as a standard. And it's then sent me down this path of just discovering more ways to figure this out. So it's going to be a great gift by the end of it. So it's great when you reach that point of refusing to settle for something. It's amazing what you wake up.
Oh, it's yeah. Well, also the stories we create. I mean, yesterday, ironically, I went to the doctor, had skin removed. This is what happens when you're this pale and you grew up by the beach your whole life. I just do not tan. Like I don't. I've been burnt my whole life playing sports outdoors, being by the beach. Got rosacea, like all these fun things you get to look forward to when you get older as you go through. But you also get to look at ways of being, right? How do you get to change things going through? But always fun, right? As a guy, it's kind of like I look at it as my job, make sure nobody around me worries about things, right? Because the worry doesn't get you anywhere. It just doesn't get you anywhere.
Sure.
So you get to correct it. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Today, what I want to bring to the table, so to speak, is checking in. How do you check in with your partner, right? And how do you do it? And I'll give you an example, Tim, or ways you can do it. So guys, what we're talking about here, and Tim, I know you know exactly what I'm going to talk about, but what we're talking about here is how do you check in to not only get the barometer of what your relationship is, like a temperature check, but how do you also check in to make sure everything's going well and to stay connected, right? Those are important characteristics that a lot of us miss. And one of the presuppositions here for a lot of us, especially us guys, is the woman we married is the same person. No, right? You're not the same man you were when you got married. You changed. I hope you have. I hope you've changed a lot. And you look at it, I mean, Tim, just if you guys go back and listen to the first episode of the podcast, you can see a change in Tim, right? Probably me. And if we're changing so rapidly, and guys, if you're listening to this, then you're into development, right? You're developing yourself. You're growing as a man. Chances are your wife is changing too. She's changed. And how have you checked in with her to really see what those changes are and do that? So, Tim, I'll let you kick it off, and then I'll provide a story that happened today.
Awesome. So how do we check in? So there's a couple of different ways of doing this, right? Because there's the check-in where you can check in on how the relationship is actually doing. And then there's a check-in that you can do on a daily basis. So I'll share what Amir and I do. So we have two different types of check-ins that we do. Most days, let's say we do them 5 days out of 7, right? One's the verbal check-in. And this is going to sound quite mechanical, but obviously it isn't. It isn't first where you get into the habit. But then once you're in the habit, you're in the groove, you find your own way of and style of doing this. It just lands for you guys. And, so anyway, there's the verbal one, which is usually at the end of the day. We've tried it at the beginning of the day, first thing. Tried it at the middle of the day. And works best for us about 7 p.m. We'll both sit down to eat. And the way that goes, super simple. 15, 20 minutes, usually thereabouts. We don't time it. But in the beginning, we wanted a habit. We did. Let's just set 15 minutes. And that's all about, how was your day? How's your day been? And the idea of that is you start describing how you experienced your day. Not just a case of, hey, yeah, my day's been good. Okay, well, What was it about your day that was good? Well, do you know what, Tim? I walked the dogs, and the dog came running over. I don't know. You get the gist, right? I'm trying to think of a really good example. But the point is, once you get given an example, Amelia, if you listen to this, that's not all I think you do in the day, by the way. And then as the person shares the experience, it's a case of, okay, well, what was it about that made you feel that way, and how you get the gist. Start asking questions to learn more and understand more about how your partner experienced the experience. What was it they found scary? What was it that excited them? What was it they loved and why did they love it? And really, we've spoken about it on other podcasts. It's that lens of curiosity, right? So you're not just taking something that she says as I was scared to mean the same thing as what scared means to you. It's like, oh, okay, interesting. Well, what was it about it that scared you? It was great, awesome. What was it about that it provided for you? And then you kind of switch, right? And it can be very conversational. So the idea of this is that by the end of this, you guys have had some dedicated time where you're talking, maybe looking in the eyes at each other, TV's off, mobile phones are away, and it's just you two sharing the most intimate parts of your day, really. And I know first for me it was kind of difficult just to get into the habit of running through my day. Wow, what's happened in my day? Um, and sharing. But now we're in the groove of it. It's great. I really look forward to it. And it kind of feels when we don't do this, it feels like something's missing in the day. Um, it's fascinating. And one of the reasons for this, and I never knew this, but obviously through the course of working with the woman that you and I work with, um, the experience for a woman in a relationship obviously is very different to a man's. But I work from home as you do, Doug, and I didn't realize that once I've woken up and Mia and I do yoga together and we have breakfast and I go up and work, I come down 6 hours later, I still feel connected to her, right? Because I only saw her 6 hours ago. But to Amelia, I saw her 6 hours ago. She's disconnected. So unless I then re-engage with her through this verbal check-in, then we kind of stay quite in her eyes more so than mine. We stay quite disconnected to the point that we go to bed. And you can imagine if then you wake up and you do the same thing, because women, for the most part, connect with their man verbally. Guys tend to do it more physically. And that's the other part of the check in, the physical check in. And that's some dedicated time again each day where you go through certain practices. So they're the two main ones that are the two regular ones. And I know there's other ones you can do, like you're probably going to get into in a minute, about actually how the relationship is going and how it is for you and so forth. But have you used those two check-ins, Doug?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we use it. We do it differently, but it's similar, right? The concept is still the same. What we talk about, because we do it with the kids, or what are your magic moments? We used to
Mm,
do what's the one rose and one thorn of the day, right? We got that
mm,
from another family, like what's a good thing and what's a bad thing, so we weren't trying to make it all. But now we just say what are your magic moments, and then my son repeats to everybody and goes around the table and asking them. And he gets really excited about it, and you
mm,
know. But it's a good way to check in. And dude, what it really is for me is a good way to remember all the great stuff that happened because we forget.
mm. That's
Like,
what I
oh
mean. Yeah.
yeah, I did that. And I have this lifestyle that I created. And I was able to do this and I was able to do that. I was able to play with my son. And, yesterday I took the drone out with my son and he was just so
Mm,
excited. And I got to let him, he's 3. I'm letting him fly this thing. And, with my help, of course. And just little things doing like that connection time. He came down here, into my office space and was playing and, wanted to play. That I was the kid, and he was the daddy. It was just cute, right? He's like, I gotta go to work. I'll be right there. And I always love you. It was just things that I say to him. So we do that kind of stuff. And I do that with my wife too. Like, hey, instead of just how was your day, we do it a little bit more deliberately. But the thing that I was thinking of that happened today is I was thinking the evolution of this check-in. And what I've chosen to do is take control of the check-in, take control of the paradigm. So as an example, and our listeners probably already know, my son was sick last night. And so it's like every hour he's whining and sniffling. Poor guy, right? I'm a dad. So I'm getting up, I'm running upstairs. We have our master bedroom is on one floor, I'm on another floor and our kids are on another floor. So you walk upstairs, you're tired, and you check on them, blow the nose, put the blanket, try to figure out what's going on, try to assess the situation, and you're doing that all through the night. You're exhausted. My wife would do it too. We switch off. Eventually, she's like, "Hey, you need to get some sleep. I'll take care of it." So we're up in the morning, moving around in the kitchen, and you can just tell there's that disconnection because we're just tired. We're parents going through there. So I stopped, grabbed her, pulled her in, gave her a kiss, and said, "Hey, let's make the best out of today. How do you want today to look?" Right. So it's a check in, but now I'm pre framing the check in, right? I'm pulling her in, I'm taking control, I'm leading, but I'm also saying, hey, let's make the best of it. Like today could be just a crappy day because you're so tired, right? You're sucking down coffee. Parents, you get it, right? You're just exhausted. So I did like, let's make it the best possible, you know? And that changed my wife's whole shift and energy. You could see it happen with her, right? It's a
Yeah.
paradigm shift. Cool. How can we make this amazing? Right? Rather than make this like, oh my God, I just want to get through the day type
Yeah.
feeling. And that's a type of check-in, right? 'Cause that's a type of leading check-in. So I'm checking in with her. I'm giving her the opportunity to tell me how she's doing because I asked her. And then I'm also saying, hey, look, let's make this the best day possible. So at the end of this, we can look at this as like an amazing experience that brings our family closer together, brings our relationship closer together, rather than just a crappy thing. Because what we used to do, and I imagine most guys can relate to this, you're exhausted, you walk by in the kitchen, you maybe even bump into each other, you go to the coffee pot, you pour yourself a coffee, you sit down at the table, you're on your phone, you're rubbing your eyes, and you're just trying to get through the morning, right? You're hoping to God that caffeine kicks in. You're hoping that you get some rest or, an appointment cancels, whatever it may be, so you can creep away and have a little bit of time to yourself. You're hoping your wife takes care of the kids because you don't want to deal with it. You're tired. So you can do that. And there, to your point with you and Amelia, that's going to cause more disconnection rather than checking in and then leading that check in, which is what
Mhm.
I know you do with Amelia. You lead that conversation, or you have in the past, and that allows you guys to naturally do it. So I
Mhm.
think that's a big difference. And most men are never checking in. And that's why we talk about divorce day, right? And we get the calls all the time, guys, December and January, because January is divorce day, I think it's January 4th this year. I didn't see it coming. Never saw it coming. Hundreds of men calling, right? But they didn't take a temperature check in the relationship,
Mm.
right? So
And you'll
another,
know as well, right? Even with the check-in, because the moment that the wife starts saying, yeah, all good, and stops wanting, we speak like this in the motives, emptying the basket, right? The moment that she stops wanting to empty that basket and share everything about her day because maybe you are not paying attention or you don't engage with it or you see it as meaningless. And
totally.
as that happens, she starts to pull away bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. And I know this happened to me a few years ago. I didn't really see the signs. I didn't see it as necessarily a a warning sign or a bad thing because typically guys and women, they, like I say, they connect in different ways for the most part. Um, but for women, this is one of the main ways. So if she then starts a warning sign, guys, if you go try and do this check in this evening and you say, "Hey, how was your day?" and you know she might not respond very well. She might, yeah, okay, and then start asking a couple of, "Hey, well, just okay." Well, hey, what was the rose of the day? What was the thorn? Let's try. Let's play this game. You open to it? What was the magic moment? Whatever, right? And if after a few advances she's still not going there, then chances are you've got some work to do because the chances are she's started to close down emotionally. So don't see it as a good thing. Don't brush it under the carpet if she doesn't get a response. Oh, she's just tired. Oh, it's just where she is, because that's a red flag. That's a warning sign. If she doesn't load and she starts telling you, rather than see that as some guys have told us in the past, oh, she just wants to talk, and I've been in a leadership position all day. I've been making decisions. I don't want to come home and have to listen to her. That's a great position to be in, the when she wants to offload. So take it, take it while you invite more of it. Keep asking the questions,
Yeah.
right? Because that's a great place to be. A great place to be.
Yeah. And if you're going to do that methodology, what I'd recommend is being playful and excited. She's like, yeah, it's good. Oh, really? Were you able to, if she's working, ask her about work. Oh, did you see Sandra at work? And she could say, yeah. Oh, awesome. How was she? Ask open-ended questions. It's like your kids, guys. Like your kids going, hey, how was school today? Fine. That whole thing that happens with kids. Ask them engaging questions. Get excited. Get into her world. And I think that's the difference here, right? And then as you start getting that into a habit, like Tim is talking about, then she's going to look forward to this, right? It's your normal check-in. It's just what you do at dinner. It's what I do. Like, hey, what are your magic moments? We do this regardless of who we're with. So if we're with another family out to dinner, we're with friends, whoever, and we're eating dinner, we go, hey guys, we do this thing with our family called magic moments. Would you guys be cool if we did this? And here's how it goes. And I'll kick it off with my wife or someone else. Or I'll be like, hey Tim, what are your magic moments today? What are the things that stood out? And we make it fun. My energy needs to lead that to be fun. Because if I'm like, hey man, what are your magic moments? Yeah, that's just like it's off-putting, right? You don't do that. And so it doesn't work. Another thing we do, Tim, with my wife and I do, and we haven't done this as often, but we used to do it really frequently, is what is your love tank? How full is your love tank? All right. We use the scale of 1 to 5. I like the 1 to 5 scale. I don't like a 1 to 10 because no one friggin' picks those middle numbers. But 1 to 5, what's your love tank? My wife might say 3. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. That's awesome. So it's a 3. What would be a 4 for you? What would that feel like? What would that experience be like? And then she'll share, right? She might say it's a 5 or it's a 7. I'm so filled up. And it may not be she's filled up because of me. She may be filled up because of our kids, her parents are visiting, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't matter. It's her love tank, right? Mm-hmm. Or her love tank might be a 3, and it might be a 5 with me, but a 3 because of other things that have happened. That's still her love tank, right? And so I want to know how I want to fill it up, right? I want to take her to the gas station, so to speak, and fill up that tank in any way possible. And I see you smirking over there. So any innuendos you guys want to apply, go for it. And that works, I'll tell you. So you want to it's kind of like we call a temperature check within the Powerful Man. But my wife and I use the language of love tank because it just works for us. What is it? And I'll get a temperature in the relationship. And I'll sometimes do this, and I'm not recommending this, but this is what I do. I'll sometimes do this when I don't think things are going well for me in the relationship. I'll ask her, I'll be like, is she not getting this? Like, I'm not happy. Like, what's your love tank? She's like, oh, it's a 5. She's like, what about yours? 2. Mine's a 2. And we're about to talk about it.
Yeah.
Here, let me list all the things you're doing wrong. But it's a good way to check in with each other and see fluctuations and notice fluctuations, right? Is there a fluctuation during a menstrual cycle? I can tell you I've picked up patterns. When my wife's parents are here visiting, it's a 5. The day before they leave and the week after, her love tank is low. As her partner in life, right, I want her love tank to always be full. So I always ask her, like, what could be, how can we make that from a 3 to a 4? Right? Well, and she stops and thinks about it. And she's like, you know what? Just you asking brings it up to a 4 already. And maybe if we could just spend a little bit of time at dinner tonight, just you and I, after the kids go to bed. Cool. I can do that. But I can't do it if I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. So easy to do, so easy not to do.
Exactly. So guys, what I'm going to recommend to you guys do is pick one of these methodologies. You can do them all, of course, but pick one: temperature check, love tank check, nightly, check-in, thorn rose, magic moments, and bring them into your relationship. Find out where it is. Ask questions. As Tim said, don't just settle for, day was good, right? Don't settle for that. Use that playful energy and bring it back out of her and have fun with it. And you do it consistently. That's the key here. You need to do it consistently, because if it's a one-off, you're not going to get anywhere with it. But if you're doing it consistently, that's when you're going to start changing the way your family operates, the way your relationship operates. It's going to be the key to it.
I love that.
All right, guys, that's a wrap for us at The Powerful Man Show. As always, go over to thepowerfulman.com/bonus and pick up your free bonus and training right there. And of course, we'd love you to drop a comment into the free Facebook group. Just search for The Powerful Man if you're not already in there. Request to join. It is for business owners. That's what we specialize in working with through the methodologies that we've developed over the years. Until next time, guys, make sure you take some action. I'd love to hear how it goes for you, and have an amazing day. We'll see you next time on The Powerful Man Show.